was actually doing my thing in that world, they say. I remember some people coming and shooting, and like they actually shot bullets, and the bullets was going past my head. Like I could hear the whistling going past me, to the point like, whoa, like, is this my life? You know, I can help somebody else who in those poverty-driven neighborhoods to have something to do and something to, you know, to live for. I gotta play Kobe Bryant. And at the time, it dawned on me. I played him, and I think he scored maybe like 42 points. I played 8 minutes and I fouled out. And I'm like, damn, I should have listened.
Hey everyone, my name is Carlos Vazquez. I'm the CEO and founder of GoSprout. Really excited to be here today. What we're doing at GoSprout is helping make registered apprenticeship programs easy. And not just registered apprenticeship programs, but any program that involves earning and learning while doing. And so we're joined by one of our advisors today. Really excited to speak and have this conversation with Tony Allen, TA. TA, thanks a lot for joining today. Excited to chat with you, brother.
Much love, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
You know, one of the things we talk about at GoSprout is how do we improve economic mobility through jobs? And when I came across the concept of apprenticeship, which has been around forever, we're talking about medieval times. The concept of apprenticeship, of learning next to someone, teaching them, goes back to when you were just learning something new, getting food, getting shelter, and that was the exchange as an apprentice. And so as a model, now the government has set aside a lot of money to help employers create and incentivize employers to create these programs. And as we think about the communities we're trying to reach, communities, you know, from across the US, like South Side of Chicago, like the South Bronx, we've really been obsessed with fixing pathways into jobs. And I thought we could start off by you just talking a little bit about, you know, what that means to you. Why is this something that's important for you as we think about fixing the system behind us, that oftentimes youth don't have access to jobs?
It's definitely something that our youth definitely need to be knowledgeable, having the access to be able to get in the workforce and having those avenues to take and get out there. Like you say, getting next to someone, showing them the routes and the ways to go about doing it, I think is key. Knowledge is always power. You know, they always say each one should teach one.
Yep.
And that being the beginning stages of us getting out here in this work field. Like I said, I'm from a community where you earn your keep. You know what I'm saying? You got to work to earn your keep. And for more so than anything, what we doing now is basically the platform for it.
Here you are now, you know, about to get your jersey retired in Memphis, which is crazy. And you, as a kid, and following the path that you were blessed with this talent. But I know what really excites you about this is opening up pathways for the other youth who are trying to figure out how to make it and don't know where to start. I guess I just want to hear, like, how, you know, what makes you passionate about that? You know, what drives you to use your platform to bring up that topic?
Well, like I say, man, growing up where I come from, man, Chicago, man, 248 West 95th Street to be exact. Coming up in that community, man, the routes to take and trying to make a living for yourself always either landed you in jail or possibly getting you killed. And I just think this day and age is like a repeating cycle of that going on. And being the now own GrindFather is what they call me, Mr. First Team All Defense. Coming back with that title, I think I'm a voice now. I think I got the voice now to, you know, stir somebody in the right direction. I got the say so of, you know, letting them know if they doing something wrong or if they doing something that's going to land them 20, 30 years in jail or possibly life, or, you know, just doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing. I think I got the voice to do that, and I take advantage of that as much as I can. like I say, man, I'm coming to a place where, a lot of people don't make it out. And we talking about like not making it out, like not even being able to get jobs, ending their careers early through, whether it's gun violence or, like I say, going to jail. And now that I can be the person that can actually come back and people be like, basketball being like the glue of their attention. Because it's like they always got a conversation for me, whether it's talking about Dwayne Wade, whether it's talking about LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. That be the start of us getting their attention, right? The basketball being the glue. Now, what resources I can point them in that direction to go ahead and have some type of motivation to do it. I just believe that's my calling, bro. So that's why I'm so passionate about it.
And you use the word resources. I think that's exactly what we've tried to do with GoSprout, because the government itself has set aside a lot of resources to help incentivize businesses to hire people, and even to make it easier for communities to provide pathways. But the challenge when you deal with the government is a lot of paperwork, a lot of compliance, a lot of issues. It's there for you, but a lot of times employers aren't patient enough to like learn how to access this funding that could help make it to the communities that we're talking about. And so I think that's something that when I heard your story and what you were passionate about, I was really excited. I was like, oh, this would be a perfect platform, because you're a small percentage of the population that makes it to play at the elite level that is the NBA. And growing up, you see, I saw plenty of kids who saw music, sports, or going the other path and choosing, to get involved with drugs, get involved with gangs. And it was really like not a lot of other options as you're thinking about life. So I guess what helped you, maybe as mentors or along your way, what helped you start to like get focused?
Man, well, it's a lot of things that helped me get focused. I could give you a story though, man. I remember vividly, like just being one of the guys who actually, partook in, trying to sell drugs, being affiliated. It was one incident I could remember like it was yesterday, man. I remember trying to, be with my cousin, call myself hustling, and I was out there all morning, all the way until like, I want to say about like 3:30. I think I was up at like about 7 in the morning trying to get it, right? And I was actually doing my thing in that world, they say. And I remember some people coming and shooting at me. Like they actually shot bullets and the bullets was going past my head. Like I could hear the whistling going past my head. Like, and as I was trying to make this transaction and selling these drugs, I saw a bullet go past my head. Well, I heard a bullet go, but a couple of them go past my head. And it scared me to the point like, whoa, like, is this my life? Is this my life? Like, I shouldn't be doing this. And I can always remember, Miss Davis, rest in peace, Miss Davis. She used to always tell me, you keep trying to hang with Shubu, you gonna end up in jail like him. And I used to be like, wow, like, or you gonna be dead or in jail, one of the two. And she would add that as a blunt response every time she would see me doing stuff. And just so happened this day, that dawned in my head. And I called myself just, getting from the back of the place where I was at. And I walked in the front thinking I'm getting out the way and just chilling. And all of a sudden, the rival gang that was shooting at me, I guess, one of my homeboys came and returned fire and hit one of those guys. And so as I was sitting in the front, I'm looking at life like, wow, did I almost just get hit in my head with a bullet? And just so happened the rival gang came back in front of the complex and was like about 10, 15 deep and told me like, yo, y'all just shot one of our guys. I'm thinking they about to do me in right there. And I was so scared. I was like, just hold on, bro. I'm gonna go get the chief. Be cool. I walked in and got my homeboy. My homeboy came back out. thought it was about to be some gunfire. And I was like, yo, they talked, they made a truce or some type of peace. And man, it was right then and there. I jumped in the cab. We had this service called the Jet Livery Cab. They called me a Jet Livery Cab. Hopped in the cab and went up to this pro-am. It's almost like you guys Rucker.
Yeah.
We have ours in the gym. It's called the IIT Pro-Am. And I went up to the Pro-Am, and I just so happened, I was on my way to my grandma's house, and I just so happened to look while I was in the cab, and I saw just a whole bunch of people trying to get in, a whole bunch of cars. And I was like, yo, I told the cab, stop right here. I want to go in here. I went in there, man. And when I went in there, I met a good friend of mine named Will Bynum and Jason Strait. I played on Jason Strait's team. Jason Strait told me, he said, man, what you doing? I was kind of embarrassed, and I telling him that, yo, I dropped out of high school. And this was my sophomore year. And he was like, yo, what are you doing? You know, and at the time, you know, I had just made some money. I had brand new Jordans on. And he was like, you want to hoop? I'm like, yeah, I can hoop. And I hooped that day, and I think I had about like 19 points. And Will Bynum was in the stands watching. They had the next game, the main event game. And, you know, Jason was telling me, like, bro, you need to get back in school. You need to get back in school. Leaving out of the game, I see my boy Will Bynum, and he tell me, like, bro, where you been at? And I was embarrassed, bro. I'm like, man, bro, I'm on the block. And that was kind of embarrassing. I was like, yo, bro, I just got shot at, bro. That's the only reason why I'm up here. He was like, what? He like, no, bro, I can get you in school. And at the time, it was kind of embarrassing because I was like, yo, like, all I knew was this. Like, I didn't know, like these guys were playing All-American basketball, Nike basketball. They was going to Adidas camps all the way up until this point. All the way up until that point, I didn't know nothing but what was in my neighborhood. And that was hustling. That was shooting dice on the block. That was ready to go across to the other neighborhoods and fight if we had to. That was the community norm. And to tell my homeboy that I dropped out of school, it was kind of embarrassing. And just so happened, man, through the grace of God, man, my mother had moved because she had kicked me out the house when I said I dropped out. So when it was time for me to go back and try to live with my mom, and I was trying to leave that life alone, she had moved from my old neighborhood. And when I went back, and she was like, they was like, yo, your mom moved, bro. So I didn't know where the hell my mom was at. And so, mind you, I called my grandma. You know, grandma always going to
They always picking up.
Grandma, my mama moved. When did she move? She said, yeah, boy, she moved like last week. She said, don't tell you. But she said, you can't come back to the house unless you put down them drugs and stop hanging around them dudes and, you know, get your life together. I'll tell you where she live at now. I said, Mama, Grandma, I want to go live with my mom. Where she live at? And just so happened, the school that my homeboy Will Bynum was at was on the west side of Chicago. And mind you, I hadn't seen Will Bynum. I hadn't seen Will Bynum since bitty basketball, like third grade grade basketball, like little bitty school basketball. And he was like, yo, I'm on the west side. I took a school to the red division because in our school system, you got the blue division and the red division.
Yeah.
So once you win in the blue division, you move up to the bottom of the red division. And he was like, yo, we could use you. And I took him in on his offer, like, yo, he gonna get me in school.
Wow.
And so just so happened when he told me that it's on the west side, I found out where my mama had moved to. She moved to the west side, which was 4 blocks down the street from that school. And the only embarrassing part of that all, man, was, you know, I took a lot of my time and energy trying to do what the hood was doing.
Yeah.
And so when it was time to go register for that school, bro, they had looked at my transcripts and was like, yo, you got 0.5 credits. How the hell you want to go to school? You're supposed to be a junior right now. So I had to do everything I had to do, bro, and trying to get it right. Like, and part of getting it right was if school started at 8 o'clock, I had to be there at 7. If school was there at 2:30, they wanted me to be there all the way until 3:30. You know what I'm saying? Hell, they even put it to the points of me having to play football.
Like for conditioning and just
No, play. Like, just keep your helmet on. If you need some water, we'll bring water. So I played under alias. But I did whatever I had to do so I can get eligible. And I did whatever I had to do so I could be able to pursue my dream. And it dawned on me, like, just a lot of my old kids in the neighborhood saying, like, bro, you need to change your crowd, change what you're doing, change what you're doing. So those were big motivational voices in my ear, like, if you don't get it right. And then that specific incident, it was like, damn. But as I look back and I'm like, yo, this just keep happening. Because those same situations are happening today, but a lot of people don't snap out of it. A lot of people don't get to see that it's more to life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so just looking back, it's like, damn, man, I thank God for every opportunity, but man, we got to change the way of that cycle quick, because that way wasn't it. And I found that out through gunfire.
Hearing your story reminds me of the countless stories we don't get to hear of the people who weren't able to basically like accept the sign, the message, the situation, and kind of like change tracks. And I feel a lot of times that has to do back to that opportunities. Opportunities keeps coming to my mind because if you don't know of your opportunities, you rely on what's around you. You rely on the influencers like who are around you. Sometimes we're lucky and blessed with, parents or grandparents or moms who influence, like my mom, growing up in the projects, like I had to be, when the sun was coming down, my ass had to be on my way inside the house. If it got dark, there was a chance the door was going to stay locked, And so I feel like in those environments, you have to make it despite the conditions around you. And how do we change that? How do we not make it an anomaly that we talk about, TA, the Tony Allen, who the young person who, went to work at X company and, started a career and 10 years after starting is making six figures. And I think those are the narratives, the stories that we got to share. So I guess as we think about employers and jobs, what were, if you look back, what are some of the, because you, going into the league, GrindFather, everybody knows you as the hard worker. Were there any influencers around you that you saw, grinding in that sense of like, in the work world?
Probably my aunties.
Yeah.
My auntie Sherry, she worked and she dealt with behavioral disorderly kids. My other auntie, she worked 28, 30 years driving the CTA bus.
And the reason I ask that is because I know right now with the businesses you're starting, part of what you're doing too is trying to open up and provide some jobs to people in your family and the community and stuff like that. So curious how they're responding to that.
Yeah. So basically, and what I was gonna get at, leading to that was more so my motivation to let it be known that, like, I want to really be a help to somebody. Doing all that's showing the grit and grind work of, grinding it out just to make ends meet. But now I want to be able to put something together to where, I can help somebody else who in those poverty-driven neighborhoods to have something to do and something to, to live for. And me being from those communities, laying those opportunities down, like you say, is having a UPS, having a trucking company, giving out jobs. I wanted to be the guy that's from the community, our race, providing those opportunities and getting my flowers in that matter. Because when you look back, like, ain't nobody coming to them neighborhoods to even offer no jobs, let alone try to even talk to them about nothing in the positive direction. Because one, they scared to come over there. They scared they might get robbed. They scared someone. But if you think about it, that's probably some of the best talent. That's probably gonna be some of the most dedicated and hardest working people you could probably put in the workforce. And I don't think a lot of people don't understand that. Like once you give them that opportunity, they gonna go to the moon. I could use myself an example. Like I just used my auntie for example. Just I use my other auntie example. They was in that workforce, but what they did, they went hard. And so when I look at what was going on now, it's like I think companies should be coming into these hoods and teaching the trade and because everybody ain't gonna have those God-given talents like I got. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody gonna be able to do that. But I encourage companies to come into the community, give jobs out, give a trade, you know what I'm saying, what have you, and show them a way to get into these just long-term employment.
Long-term
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think that's gonna be the key, and it's definitely gonna have that effect in the neighborhood where it trickle down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that's the key too, is long term. I think sometimes you see a lot of programs, short term internships, sometimes they're unpaid. And you really are not going to be able to get someone to make a real life transition if it's just a short term unpaid. I mean, yeah, they might be able to add something to the resume, but this is where apprenticeships come in too, because apprenticeship flips the model on the head. It's a job from day one. So really what they're doing is not only are you hiring someone, but you're committing to develop that person. To your point, the untapped talent that sits in these communities because they don't know what options they have, or because the opportunities just through the nature of the system don't make it to them, don't reach them. And I used to, plenty of people who I talked to growing up, they always thought making it out the hood was making it. And I used to always flip it and say, well, how can you make it while you're in the hood? You know what I mean? Like, what does it take? And it takes jobs. Because if you could live in a community and you could have a decent paying job and you contribute to the community, to the economy of the community, and enough people know their pathways, I feel like that's what becomes the transformation. That's how you start to show neighborhoods. And I think about growing up too. Like I had one friend who worked at a law firm, ended up in the mailroom, and he put on all of a sudden we had like 10, 12 people in the mailroom, but that was their start. Some of them are still doing that today. And I think to your point, when you mentioned when someone finds an opportunity, they tend to bring it back and say, hey, I did it this way. Y'all should consider doing it this way. You talk about Will Bynum kind of helping you see the light a little bit, like, hey, I can help you do this, but you got to be willing to put in the work. So the concept of putting in the work, there's a lot of qualities you mentioned that fit apprenticeship. Showing up on time. If it's at 3:30, they want you there at 2. I mean, you don't have to be there that early for the job, but the idea is that you got to go a bit extra, especially if you're trying to prove yourself.
Yeah, you got to outwork. You got to outwork what the opportunity is. See, and I relate. I could put another example to that is like when you get in the NBA, bro, they give you a rookie contract, right? You put so much work into that rookie contract. You know the ins and outs of the offense. You know what they want defensively. You know what the organization wants you to do in the community. You hitting them on all cylinders. That's the same thing when you sign these people up for these apprenticeships and you go into these communities and they figure out the business. They figure out what we need to be doing. Before you know it, they become employees of the week. Before you know it, they go get better education about certain areas, whether it's finance or whether it's to move up in these programs. Right. And you'd be surprised once they get into those positions, then that's why I say they come back and they let it be known, hey bro, I done just moved up in such company through this apprenticeship program. Boom, I'm the manager at X company. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all I'm gonna need you to do is go ahead, get your license, be able to get to work. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta go to the littlest thing to break this down, because people in the community, they gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna keep talking about the community, but I'm talking about getting them at a high school too. Like while their mind is already in, just trying to figure it out mode. Like, you get what I'm saying? Push them into that direction so they won't have to fall to that other option that they definitely don't want to be in. So like I said, man, we trying to get that, what they say, they want economic development.
Yeah.
Come on in the neighborhood. I guarantee you they gonna push it up to where it need to be.
Yeah, that goes back to what we just talked about with the long term, because it's anybody can have a talent, but what you do with the talent, how you cultivate the talent, train the talent. You get that shot with that NBA, rookie deal. You still gotta earn your place. You still gotta work because there's someone potentially waiting to replace you. And I think that's a similar mindset to have, on the job, right? If you want to continue to grow in your career, you start off entry level, 2 years, 3 years. Everybody wants a promotion. Everybody wants to get paid more. So I think that that mentality is something that the apprenticeship model creates. It creates a model where you're learning from someone next to you. You're learning from someone who's showing you the ropes, showing you how to operate within the system. Are there any mentors that stand out for you when you entered the league?
Oh, most definitely. I would have to give that mentorship to Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
I mean, he was with me all through the way. Like being as a rookie, coming in, trying to figure out what my placing is in the league, to working harder, to eventually starting as a rookie, to even going towards being a rookie all-star, going to the all-star team with him, when he was in 2004, and then going through adversity with him as well. I told my ACL, and within 10 my ACL, coming back, it was like, you got to figure out a way how you can get on the court now, because they went in another direction. Now, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna come in and outwork every motherfucking body in here. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like I said, I'm gonna be the first one in practice. I'm gonna be the first one in the weight room. I'm gonna be the first one getting my shots up. And when practice over with, I'm gonna go hard. While practicing going on, I'm gonna be going hard in practice, compete. But when it's over with, I'm gonna stay and give me some more extra shots up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the last one to leave. I'm gonna come in with my construction hat on. I'm ready to get dirty. You know what I mean? And I want to make that a point of emphasis every day. And when you want to carry that over into apprenticeship program, like we've been talking about, is those high people who get those opportunities that you don't think highly of, or you just ain't really ready to get them that opportunity. You just don't know. You might be missing out on somebody who can probably take the company into its highest form.
Yeah, no, I mean, those skills you mentioned are transferable and work in any environment, being aware. First of all, also being able to learn. A lot of times learning is underappreciated. The process of learning something, like having someone next to you, like a Paul Pierce, taking you under his wing, kind of like guiding you, I'm sure that made things go a lot faster for you in the sense of like showing you the ropes, right? And that's kind of how the apprenticeship model works too, is that when you're working next to someone, the idea is that this person has X number of years experience. They're gonna help you, take that experience and say, hey, don't do that way, that didn't work, but if you do this, this is gonna work. And so hearing you talk about that is the role of the journey worker in the apprenticeship model. So it's very similar. I mean, I have an apprentice, at our company, and there's things that I've been able to help her skip in terms of her development, but also there's things that she just has to go through the pain or the I guess the turbulence of learning stuff too. I just want to hear a little bit about some of those things that you had to adapt and learn as you entered the league. Like you seem to have come in with good discipline, ready to roll, but like what were some of those pain points that you had to adjust?
Oh man, well, just understanding the pecking order of, how this basketball organization want to be ran. Coming in, obviously, I was player of the year in college. I was one of the main guys, and having to adjust was a big thing. Understanding, okay, if coach draw up a play, the ball might come to you, and you might feel as if you could take this guy off the dribble and go get a bucket, but in reality, it's set up and orchestrated to get the ball to Paul Pierce. So if you're doing something that's not part of the scheme of things, maybe you looking like the guy that don't understand what's going on. Maybe you looking a little lost out here. Maybe you might need to be on the bench is the first option. Then if you showing not good sportsmanship, not being coachable, you upset with that role that you're given, then the next option is putting you on the trading block. Then after that, you got to understand, okay, cool. After I get traded and this stigma sticks with me that, you know, I think it's about me and it's all about me, then maybe the league isn't for you. Because one thing I had to learn when I came in the league is that being in the NBA is not a right, it's a privilege. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you get to go into the mindset and be thankful in being here and figuring out where do I get in to fit in it. And that was my thing I had to learn. Cause there've been times where I came in front, like I come in here, I get the ball, I go try to clear out, tell everybody to move, and coach would be like, time out. Coach, I had him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this Kirk Howard on me, I got him. This ain't about you and Kirk Howard, Tony. It's about Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls. And so once you get that understood, it take a teamwork to make a dream work, and it takes everybody collectively doing it, get together, and each one teaching one, so we can all move on one accord. I believe that's the motto you're gonna have to move by to win.
Yeah.
And it starts from just understanding it and going through it to learn it. Because if Coach wouldn't have said nothing, I'd still be looking at Paul Pierce like, move out the way. When in reality, it's a pecking order. They just paid this man $23 million a year.
Right.
Not for him to look at you
move
shoot
out the way. Yeah.
Not for him to say, all right, let TA move me out the way and you shoot the ball. No. That ain't the way this program is being ran. And like I said, you gotta go through that to understand it.
You know, it's all right. So you just hit on another point that is a big part of the apprenticeship model, and I feel like right now it's like apprenticeship university that we're going through, right? Because the other part of the apprenticeship is not just the on-the-job stuff, but technically apprentices also do what's called related training, and that sometimes is at night class or on the weekends. So they build in related training with what you do on the job. The idea is that you're learning some of the theory and whatnot, but you're also learning on the job. The reason that comes to mind is you hit on something for me that's a lot of times great athletes are really great students of the game. Like if you are a great athlete, how many athletes do we know are students of the game? They're looking at the playbook, they're learning, they're listening to the coach. And so what was your take on becoming a student of the game? You know, what was your take on, you know, watching video or replays? You know, how did you approach that?
Well, I give you an example of what made me key in on specifically that. I remember it being us playing the I think it was 2005, 2006 season. By this time, I'm like, yo, I gotta play Kobe Bryant. And at the time, it was like, yo, all I know is just the highlights of what he do. He dunk on you.
Right.
He shoot amazing shots and tough shots on you. And he gonna get a lot of points. And so it dawned on me, like after this one game, I played him and I think he scored maybe like 42 points. I stuck him a couple times where it was like I played 8 minutes and I fouled out. And I'm like, damn, I should have listened to what Coach was talking about on film. I should have listened to what he drew up on that board. I should have listened to what he was saying in practice. And so therefore it gave me the mindset where, okay, from here on out, I gotta have my 5 P's in order. My proper preparation gonna prevent me from poor performance. And it was right then and there I keyed in with the video guy. And I used to tell him after that, I used to say, you know what? Whoever I'm guarding, I want to see an edit of 5 plays where he going to his right hand, 5 plays where he going to his left hand in half court. I need to see all the plays where he drove baseline and dunked on somebody. I need to see 5 plays when he went to the left and probably dunked on somebody. I need to see 5 plays when he in the post, just fading away, shooting threes. Or if he even if he had these attributes. But give me the last 5 plays of him going right and left, whether it's in transition, whether it's in the post, whether it's shooting corner threes, whether it's top of the key threes. And that's the way I can watch them and dissect them. So when I get in the actual game and it's time for me to be evaluating and defending this guy, I know all his attributes. I know everything that he wants to do. I studied this guy.
Wow.
So this film is going to help me because it'll have me better prepared to defend him when he's trying to fake me to right and I know he really want to go left. I done seen him do this move 5 times in 5 different games.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So now you got to come with something. You got to come with another counter. So now all his other counter is to drive left and step back now. Okay, well, I'm giving you that. That's like a 33% shot. I done seen you miss that a lot of times for game winners. That's you're not comfortable doing that. You can make that, but you're not comfortable doing that. And so within that, I was able to push that through my career, and I did that with everybody. It wasn't just Kobe, but once it got to Kobe, I can't say I studied a little more film than I watched everybody else. But when it was time to do that with other guys who wasn't as talented as him, I had an easier night. Like you probably find me getting more steals on those guys because they have frustrated and getting open. I can deny them a little more. Guys who couldn't dribble as good, I can get more steals.
Yeah.
Guys who only depended on shooting, okay, I can get in their space. Now they uncomfortable because I'm too close. And they don't know how to get their shot off because I'm so close, making them uncomfortable. And it was just little things like that that helped me along the way become a 6-time all-team defender.
Yeah, and I think that's coming into the league. I mean, you were a scorer. You always been a scorer.
Yeah, and then I tore my knee up.
Yeah, and you take a lot of pride, as you should, in being, one of the best all time on defense, right? And I think, to your point, when you mention having an awareness of your role, of where you stand, employers feel the same way, right? An employer wants the team. You know, there's a saying, what is it? I think you're only as strong as your weakest link, or you're only right. And so there's hearing you talk about, you realize, all right, I fouled out 8 minutes. I got to go watch the film. Start to evolve your game, because at the same time, our physical attributes, you have to evolve too. You have to add new skills, or at least, I guess, new skills to your toolkit. And you added the skill of watching video, of kind of like studying the game. It reminds me too of why we need the combination of on the job and the theory of school. So education, right, it's a tough time for education, right? Like, because they're trying to keep up with all these advancements that are happening, whether it's with AI, any emerging industry, schools are trying to keep up. So things happen, the schools have to, oh shoot, we got to get it in the textbook, The thing about apprenticeships is the combination of the textbook, but you get to do it, for real. You get to do it practically. And I think, with your attributes, your ability to play, your defensive skills, and then you throw in that third part that you develop, the student of the game piece, the studying. That reminds me of all the layers in the apprenticeship model, and that's where we built the software. But one thing I want to kind of pull back and talk about is something you mentioned around about the types of jobs that are available. So, my mom always pushed me to go to school. That was always the answer, like go to school, get degrees. But underneath that layer is get debt. And the youth now are starting to realize that they could do some of the same jobs that previous populations were doing without the debt. They're calling this generation the Toolbelt Generation, because they're willing to do those trade jobs. And the few of the jobs and businesses you mentioned are in that space. The trades, you mentioned the CDL jobs. Can you talk a little bit about the way you've approached, bringing that type of those opportunities to your community?
Yeah, so basically what drove me to that, obviously, But like I said, giving the opportunity to my homeboys. A lot of them, you know, been incarcerated. A lot of them, you know, dropped out of school. Didn't have a thought or a chance in going to school. And it's funny that you said you can go on YouTube and, you know, figure it out and then jump right into that field. As long as you got those skills to do that. But my whole thing, like I say, having the opportunity for guys to have outlets, man. And
that's the missing component.
And a lot of them look at it like, okay, this is something I can do and make some money. Once they hear the numbers, hey man, you could drive this, you get your CDLs and make you anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 a week, you know, at your own schedule. All you gotta do is be willing and ready to work. You know what I mean? And guys that in my neighborhood, you know, they've been waiting for me to do it. They was waiting on me to, you know, start the company, get the LLC and do all that. So I stood on my business and did that. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it put a smile on my face, man, knowing that I can, you know, provide, you know, a job opportunity to where there's a lot of places where they'll go to and get turned down. You know what I'm saying? Nobody won't even give them a chance. And that entrepreneur mindset that I had, like I said, came from one of my homeboys who actually did the work in Dallas, and I just mimicked his game plan. And a lot of people that he hired, you know, I would ask him like what's to their background, what's to them, and he was like, well, a lot of these people, you know, they got criminal records, you know, but we meeting them where they at. You know what I'm saying? We not judging them. You know, if they got a mindset to work and want to get out here and provide and take care of their families, this is an opportunity. And like I say, man, I couldn't be more than happy in the position that I am, man. Thank God for it, because I'm definitely changing lives.
Yeah, I think most apprenticeships are between 1 year and 5 years long. That's typically the range, right? In those 1 to 5 years, you can decide to be an entrepreneur. So let's say you're doing, you know, you're working CDL, welding, HVAC, whatever it might be. You might decide 3 to 4 years down the line, you know what? I'm gonna start my own business.
And that's exactly what that's for.
Yep.
For you to raise that capital,
right?
Learn the business.
Yep.
And start your own. And that's you're right. It go hand in hand.
It go hand in hand, and that's what we're seeing. Like some people are investing in the apprenticeship, you know, learning it, getting the skills. The employer wins too, because the employer's getting this employee who's skilled. It goes back to what we talked about with options.
Well, the employer kind of be hurt too at the same time. It's a bittersweet situation, but you encourage
it's
that.
It's the greater win
because not only did you teach somebody to get to the mindset, you know, it's more to life, and you know, but it's also that feeling as an employer, like, damn, this is one of my best damn drivers. He didn't learn the game, but I can't be mad at him because I gave him all the tools that he needed to do to be successful, and that's the whole sole purpose of why I'm bringing you into this field.
Yeah.
So you could be able to use this currency that you make to also go do whatever dreams that you want to be. Like, okay, you rode the truck for a good 9 months. Now you want to pursue your rap career. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
You done rode this truck for 9-10 months, and you got you enough bread to now you want a franchise.
You want a franchise, right?
Now you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been studying and you've been on YouTube, and now you want to open you a wing stop. Go ahead, my brother.
You learned it.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's like them my flowers right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I motivated you. You get what I'm saying? And I put that battery in your back for you to get out here and get it. So that's what I love about that. And not only that, like, hey man, like I'm meeting you where you at. You know what I'm saying? So now you could be the next pick and roll to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? And I ain't judging. Wherever you at with it in life, I'm ready to meet you there. From high school until 30, 40, 50 years old, however you want it. It ain't no age limit, man. I'm ready to help all, man.
Nah, I love it, man. I think you know, it's all about you get the opportunity and what you do with the opportunity before you let it leave. And it reminds me of, when I taught fifth grade, they thought I was pretty radical because I was teaching the fifth graders how to use PowerPoint, like just a software on a computer. And everyone was like, nah, man, what you doing? These kids, they're not ready for that. They're ready for that. Sure enough, taught them, showed them a little bit, let them mess with it. Next, they're making PowerPoint presentations, they're doing this stuff, right? And if sometimes we limit people with our own, ceilings that we put, the glass ceilings that we put, we limit people without giving them a shot. Because at the end of the day, that it reminds me of a I don't know if it was a meme or what, but it said, what happens if you train your people, and then they leave? And it was like, well, what happens if you don't train them and they stay? So there's this like double edge where the employer wants to train and develop you because that's the ROI. When you're trained, you're going to help impact and make the business better. At the same time, the greater good is if that person decides to, do something good for themselves. You might learn what you don't like in a job. That's natural. That's normal. But I think that what you're doing, giving them that shot, who knows what you activate from that and what they're able to do for their community, because they become beacons for their community. Once you give them the shot and they're like, oh, TA helped me do this, I could go now. They become other, evangelists. They could go back to their communities and it becomes that trickle down that we're talking about.
Hey there, listeners. Ready to take your passion and turn it into your dream career? Meet GoSprout, the platform that is revolutionizing the way apprenticeships work. GoSprout isn't just another tool. It's your launchpad to a career you love. By connecting apprentices with real-world opportunities, we empower people to develop the skills that matter and land jobs that truly inspire them. From creative industries to cutting-edge tech and clean energy, GoSprout partners with leading organizations to bridge the gap between education and industry. If you're looking to streamline your apprenticeships program or you're an aspiring professional ready to grow, GoSprout is here to help. Visit GoSprout.app and start your journey today.
And my experiences in the community and the shit that's still going on in the community, I see it. Ain't nothing too far different.
Yeah.
One thing that is different now, though, is that they picking up the gun a little more.
Yeah, the youth.
When I was coming up, it was more about making the money.
Yeah.
Now it's more like, okay,
Reckless.
who could kill the most motherfuckers? Yeah. And that's kind of odd to me. So now it's kind of like what they call a genocide now. So it's like we just gonna keep killing each other.
Yeah.
Right? But if I could make working a job look cool, then now I'm the man. I'm really the grandfather then. If I could teach you, let's just say not trucking. If I could teach you something that's gonna, put food on your table in a constructive way. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm gonna get my flowers. That's gonna be my legacy. You feel what I'm saying? I'm with leaving legacy now. So with the apprenticeship program and the GoSprout, what I'm part of, I love what the movement is. You see what I'm saying? That's the movement, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Nah, that's why, man, I value you because I saw the impact of just having a job, my uncles and people growing up. And it wasn't that nobody didn't want to work. They just didn't know how to get to the job, right? It's such a far removed reality of like, how to interview. And I remember like when I first interviewed, the first question I asked, 'cause I didn't know any better, was, well, how much time off do I get? I'm like, right. How much my vacation time, right? Because you don't learn it until you make those mistakes. And you start, and so that education piece is important, man. Like, and so if you influence people, it's not just one person, the person's kids, the person's brother, sister, everybody starts to see. And that's why what we're trying to do with the trade jobs too is show youth people who look like them. Because a lot of times you go to some type of like job, what do you call it, like a career fair or something, and if people don't look like you're a little thrown off. Like I can't connect. And so like I mentioned, my friend Dontrell who did FPL, Energy, started as he was a young, brother trying to find a better path for him. That story resonates way more than you see someone, a lot older than you who doesn't look like you. So I think that's the big component too. And for you, that's basically what you're doing. You're saying, like, look at this. Like, I'm telling you this. So if I'm bringing this to you,
it ain't no bullshit.
it ain't, that's the key, man. And that's why this conversation too, just fine. We'll talk about sports. We'll draw the comparison between sports and being great at sports as being great at work. Because if someone could be an apprentice, start their own business, making 6 figures, you don't got to be a multimillionaire to live a comfortable life.
No.
You know?
No.
Tony, super excited to have you on our squad as an advisor. I think our mission aligns, and I'm just excited to have you part of the journey, brother. Thank you, man.
Much love. Let's keep this process going.
Let's do it.
For sure.
It's been a pleasure and honor to be here with Tony Allen to talk about apprenticeships, to talk about the impact of workforce on our communities. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, it's your boy Tony Allen, here with GoSprout. Join us on our mission to bring jobs into our community.